Islam is divided into two broad factions created soon after the death of Prophet Muhammad in 632 AD. Throughout the centuries, their differences have led to bloodshed.
So what is it about, actually?
Well, the split can be traced back to the question of who will inherit the leadership of the Ummah after the Prophet Muhammad wafat. So from there it emerged two camps. People who believe that Abu Bakar was the rightful caliph, and those who believe that Ali, because of his connections with the Muhammad's family, that he should be the rightful caliph. So that was where it all began. After that, the situation after the Prophet's passing was very intense, right? There were wars, even the battle, the infamous battle of the camel, where even Aisha took arms and led the war, right? So it was a very unstable and precarious time, because for the longest time they had a prophet who communicated God's message. After he passed away, the question was, well, how are we going to continue that leadership? How are we going to continue that vision, the Muslim vision, in this world without a leader? Right? So from there, you had these two camps emerge. The camp of Ali, which eventually became the Shia, as we know today. And then those who believe that the succession of the leadership was fair. Abu Bakar, Omar, Osman, Ali, there's no need to question that. We accept that. And those people, that tradition eventually became the Sunni tradition that we know today lah.
Tak kira Sunni dengan Syiah sepakat bahawa Sayyidina Ali adalah khalifah. Cuma Syiah meletakkan khalifah yang pertama. Sunni meletakkan khalifah Ali juga. Tapi giliran yang keempat setelah khalifah Abu Bakar, Omar dan Osman. Okey. Kita tanya Syiah, kenapa mengatakan Sayyidina Ali adalah khalifah yang pertama? Syiah akan mengatakan bahawa Nabi telah bersabda, dan sabda tersebut terdapat di dalam riwayat-riwayat, di dalam hadis-hadis yang mana Syiah bawa sebagai dalil.
So if the division is merely political, the fight for succession, why the incredibly deep hatred between the two? The answer lies in the Battle of Karbala, 50 years after the death of the Prophet Muhammad. Here at the Battle of Karbala, his own grandson, his own flesh and blood, was brutally decapitated, his head lopped off, as his small army was decimated by a huge caliphate army.
Kita lihatlah sejarah, adakah satu sejarah yang berlaku di mana peperangan berlaku 30,000 tentera berhadapan dengan 72 orang. Satu peperangan yang tak boleh digambarkan sama sekali. Kan? Yang akhir sekali berkesudahan dengan pembantaian cucu cicit Nabi Muhammad SAW. Sekitar lebih 20 orang cucu cicit Nabi dibantai dalam satu hari. Jadi kita bayangkan anak cucu kita dibantai di satu tempat 30 orang sekaligus. Kemudian kita nak cerita ini Sunni, ini Syiah. Ini satu benda yang sama sekali tak dapat diterima. Kan? Umat manusia tidak dapat menerima perkara ini dijadikan satu pertikaian mazhab. Kerana ini bukan cerita mazhab, ini cerita kemanusiaan. Tapi apa yang berlaku ke atas cucu Nabi sesudah Nabi wafat pada tahun 11 Hijrah, pada tahun 61 Hijrah, 50 tahun sesudah Nabi wafat, bagaimana cucu Nabi dikeroyok, dipenggal kepala, kan? Dan cucu cicit Nabi yang lain, termasuk yang kecil yang dirobek telinganya, ditarik untuk semata-mata untuk diambil anting-anting. Ini boleh lihat dalam peristiwa. Saya tidak mau sentuh banyak perkara ini, nanti ada sebuah orang cuba untuk contohnya, kerana banyak tuduhan-tuduhan saya lihat di sekitar tajuk inilah.
The all-defining battles of Karbala, when a huge army of Caliphate defeated in a brutal fashion a small numbers of Imam Hussein's forces has been repeated over and over again in one form or another over 1,000 years. The brutalities of the Caliphate army spelled a death knell for the unities of Islam and Muslim and ensured divisions of the religion into two warring sects, Sunni and Shia. The conflict is still ongoing all over the world.
There is a plea by Muhammad Kamil Zuhairi Abdul Aziz, the chairperson of the Shia Center in Malaysia, Hauza Al-Ridha, that the events of Karbala should not be a cause for division, but for unity of all Muslims regardless of mazhab.
Minta tolong supaya jangan dilibatkan isu sunnah Syiah di dalam perkara ni. Jadi umat Islam kena kembali kepada Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, kembali kepada Al-Quran tanpa mengira sentimen mazhab.